My name is Anna. I am 48 years old. I want to tell you a story. It is not easy, but it is important. This story is about love, pain, and forgiveness. When I was young, I met a man. His name was David. We met at a small coffee shop. I was reading a book. He came to me and asked, "Do you like that book?" I smiled and said, "Yes, it's my favorite." We started talking. We liked the same music. We both loved nature. We both wanted a big family. 1 week later, we met again. Then we started dating. We were happy. After 1 year, we got married. I wore a white dress. He held my hand. He said, "I will love you forever." I believed him. We moved into a small house. It was not big, but it was warm and full of love. David worked as a teacher. I worked at a flower shop. Every morning, he kissed me before work. Every evening, we watched the sunset from our porch. Later, we had 2 daughters, Lily and Mia. David said, "They are beautiful, just like you." He loved to read them stories at night. He helped them with homework. He called them his little stars. I was busy with the house. I cooked, cleaned, and cared for the girls. But I was happy. I felt safe. I felt loved. David didn't bring me flowers every day. He didn't write me poems. But he said, "Wear your jacket. It's cold outside." He said, "Take a rest. I'll wash the dishes." That was his love. When the girls were older, I went back to work full-time. David also changed jobs. He started working at a big company in the city. He came home late. He was always tired. I asked, "Are you okay?" He said, "I'm just busy." "Don't worry." But something felt different. He didn't smile much. He didn't talk to me like before. He started locking his phone. He stopped calling me during the day. I felt something was wrong. One evening, he said, "I need to go on a work trip." I said, "Okay. Be safe." But my heart felt heavy. He was gone for 3 days. When he came back, he didn't hug me. He didn't ask about the girls. He just said, "I'm tired. I need to sleep." One afternoon, my friend Sarah came to the flower shop. She looked nervous. She said, "Anna, I saw David with another woman." I said, "No. That can't be true," she said. "They were holding hands." "I'm sorry." My hands were shaking. My heart was cold. I closed the shop early. I went home and waited. That night I asked David, "Do you have someone else?" He looked down. He didn't speak. I said, "Please tell me the truth." He said, "Yes. I'm sorry." I asked, "Are you leaving me?" He said, "Yes. I love her." I didn't cry in front of him. He packed his bag. He left. The door closed. My world broke. After David left, everything changed. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I felt empty. I sat in the kitchen for hours. The house felt big and quiet. Every corner had a memory. The girls came home from school. I told them the truth. Mia cried. Lily asked, "Why did Dad do this?" I didn't know the answer. I said, "He is still your father. Respect him. But he hurt me." The nights were the hardest. The bed was cold. The silence was loud. One day, my friend Sarah came again. She said, "Anna, let's go out." I said, "No, I don't want to." She said, "You need fresh air. Please." We went to a children's hospital. Sarah was a volunteer there. She said, "Come and meet someone." She introduced me to a little girl named Elena. Elena had no hair. She was very sick. But she smiled and said, "Do you want to see my drawing?" It was a picture of a sun and two people holding hands. I said, "It's beautiful." Elena said, "That's me and my mom. We go to the park in my dreams." I felt tears in my eyes. I asked, "Do you go outside?" She said, "Not now, but maybe one day." Sarah said, "These mothers sleep here. They don't go home." I looked at them. They looked tired, but they smiled too. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about Elena. The next day, I went back to the hospital. I brought flowers. I brought cookies. The children smiled. I started going every week. I read stories. I painted with the kids. I found sponsors to help pay for medicine. I talked to mothers. I listened to them. Slowly, I began to smile again. I wasn't just someone who was left. I was someone who gave hope. Helping the children helped me. My daughters saw me change. Lily said, "Mom, you are strong." Mia hugged me. We started cooking together, walking and laughing again. Time passed. 10 years went by. My daughters grew up. They moved out, got jobs, started their own lives. I still worked at the flower shop. I still visited the hospital. I still helped the children. One day, it was Mother's Day. I made tea. I waited for my daughters to visit. Then someone knocked on the door. I opened it and saw David. He looked older. His hair was gray. His face looked tired. He said, "Hi, Anna. Can we talk?" I didn't know what to say. He said, "I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Can I come in?" I stepped back. I said, "This is your old house. You can come in." He sat on the couch. He looked around. He said, "It feels the same, but I feel different." I stayed quiet. He said, "She left me, the woman I left you for. She lied to me. Her child was not mine." I looked at him. He looked small, weak, not the man I once knew. He said, "I have nowhere else to go. I don't want your money. I want to say sorry. Please forgive me." I didn't know what to say. I looked at David and felt many things. I felt pain, anger, and confusion. I also felt something else. Maybe it was sadness. Maybe it was something softer. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I just said, "You can stay in the guest room. It's clean." He nodded and said, "Thank you." That night, I could not sleep. I lay in bed and looked at the ceiling. My mind was full of memories. I remembered our first day in this house. I remembered our wedding, our daughters when they were small, and the day he left me. I also remembered the day I met Elena at the hospital. That day changed my life. It helped me become strong again. But now, David was back, and everything felt heavy. The next morning, I made coffee. David came into the kitchen. He looked unsure. He said, "Good morning." I only nodded. I put a cup of coffee in front of him. He smiled a little. He said, "Thank you." We sat in silence. After breakfast, he went outside. He looked at the garden. The fence was broken. I saw him pick up some tools and start fixing it. I watched from the window. He looked slower than before, older, but he worked with care. I didn't say anything. I just watched. In the evening, I made dinner. It was simple: rice, vegetables, and chicken. I put the plates on the table. David sat down. He said, "The food smells good, Anna." I didn't answer. We ate quietly. Then he said, "I missed your cooking. No one cooks like you." I looked at him. I said, "You made your choice, David." He looked down. He said, "I know. I'm sorry." After dinner, he stood up to help me wash the dishes. I said, "No, I can do it." He nodded and went to the guest room. That night, my daughters came to visit. They were surprised to see David. Mia said, "Dad, what are you doing here?" David looked down. He said, "I made a mistake. I hurt your mother. Now I want to fix it." Lily looked at me. She asked, "Mom, are you okay with this?" I said, "I don't know yet." Lily and Mia took me into another room. Mia said, "Mom, you don't have to let him stay. We can take care of you." I smiled and said, "I just need time to think." That night, I sat on the porch alone. I looked at the stars. I asked myself many questions. Can people really change? Can I trust David again? Will he leave again? He hurt me deeply, but he was also the father of my daughters. He worked hard for our family. He raised the girls with me. I didn't have the answers. The next morning, I saw David fixing the garden gate. He also cleaned the windows and repaired a broken chair. He didn't say much. He just helped around the house. Days passed like this. He didn't try to talk much. He gave me space. One afternoon, my granddaughter Emma came to visit. She ran into the house and saw David. She shouted, "Grandpa!" She ran to him and hugged him. David smiled. It was the first time I saw him really smile in years. Emma looked at me and said, "Grandma, Grandpa said he missed me. Can we all go to the park together?" I didn't want to go, but Emma held my hand and said, "Please, Grandma, it will be fun." I looked at her big eyes and said, "Okay, let's go." At the park, Emma played on the swings. David and I sat on a bench. He said, "Thank you for letting me come back, Anna." I said, "I haven't decided yet, David." He nodded. "I understand," he said. "Take your time. I will wait." More days passed. David stayed in the guest room. He fixed things in the house. He helped in the garden. He cleaned the garage. He didn't ask for anything. One morning, my friend Sarah came to visit. She saw David and raised her eyebrows. After he left the room, she asked, "Are you okay with him here?" I said, "I don't know. I feel angry, but I also feel sorry for him." Sarah said, "You don't have to forgive him right away, but maybe this is a chance to heal. For both of you." That night, I thought about her words. Maybe she was right. Maybe healing takes two people. The next morning, I made breakfast. I called David to the table. He looked surprised. He sat down. He looked nervous. I said, "I don't know if I can forgive you, but I want to try." David's eyes filled with tears. He said, "Thank you, Anna. I will do everything to make it right." After that, we began spending more time together. We talked about the past. David told me he was sorry again and again. He said he didn't understand what he had before. He said he was selfish. One evening we sat in the garden. He said, "I don't expect you to forget, but I hope one day you can forgive." I said, David, I will forgive you, but it will take time. You have to show me you've changed." Over time, things got better. We started laughing again. We remembered the good days. We talked about our daughters and Emma. We even watched the sunset, just like before. One morning, David brought me tea in bed. I looked at him. I said, "Be careful. Don't spill it this time." We both laughed. It was a small moment, but it meant a lot. I still don't know what the future holds, but I know that forgiveness is not easy. It takes time. It takes love. It takes patience. Maybe one day our family will feel whole again. Maybe not the same as before, but something new. Something strong. Something honest. I hope you enjoyed this story. Anna's journey is full of emotions, choices, and strength. What do you think? Should she forgive David completely and start over? Or should she move on and live her life alone? I would love to hear your thoughts. Please share your opinion in the comments below.